plate. Dug, dug, doop, 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 doop. Dug, dug, doop, 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 doop. Dug cooking up. Dug, dug, dug. Dug cooking up. Dug, dug, dug. What's up? Dug with the hot plate. What's up? Dug with the hot plate. What you cooking up? Hey, what you cooking up? Hey, what you cooking up? Hey, what you cooking up? Dug, dug, doop, 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 doop. What's up, Dug? With the hot plate. What's up? Dug with the hot plate. Dug, Dug.
Yo, 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 yo! I'm back in the building. It's man, Dougie, man. We are back, man. I know a lot of people gonna say, "Oh, you know, Dougie disappeared from the face of the earth." A lot of people gonna say, "Oh, you know, Doug gave up on the team." No, I got receipts, got notes tonight. We're gonna get to it. The season was up and down, man, but we are here. 2025 is up off season. We're gonna give you guys a couple of details that's going on in the off season, but throughout the season as well, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the panel that we have tonight. As always, you already know who my right-hand man is, my brother, Uncle Quan over there at the Panthers Experience. Go ahead and tell the people what's up, fam.
What's be going on, man? Hey, welcome back, Doug. Good to have you back up here, man. Just blessed to be alive, brother. Blessed to be up here again with you, man.
Yes,
Chat,
sir.
pull up on your boy, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. It's up, man. Hey, happy New Year to everybody. Welcome back to What's Up, Doug, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, man.
Yes, sir, man. Like I said, that's my co-host right there, Uncle Quan at the Panthers Experience, man. We are back in the building, man. I'm telling you guys, this is just the first live of 2025. You already see, you know, the logo then changed up. We got new intros coming in now. Also, we got memberships. Again, I want people to go ahead and grab those memberships as well, because with those memberships, there's a bigger pot to being a part of the Dougie effect. So, let's go ahead and bring up the next panelist of the night. My adopted big brother, CJ, over at Two Fans in the Stands. Go ahead and tell the people, you're.
Let's go. Hey, Doug, wait, is that really you? Is that you, Doug? Am I getting put? Where you been at, cuz? Oh my goodness, man. Good to have you back, Doug. Good to have you back, man. What's going on?
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And our also we have, I met this person here in Texas, has been a great asset to me. Let me go ahead and bring up another regular here on What's Up, Doug. My guy AJ from All Pro Sports Talk. Go ahead and tell the people what's up, AJ.
What's up with it, man? Hey, CJ, I'm with you. I can't believe my eyes. Is that Doug?
Hey, I'm telling you. I don't know, man. Hey, we might have to go check on him. You know, make sure it's really him and not a body double.
Yeah, you know, man. AI been going crazy. This might be an AI.
Hey, man, but hey, I appreciate you pulling up on us, AJ. Like I said, these are your regulars that you're gonna see over here. What's up, Doug, man? But I have a privilege of introducing our guest for tonight. He is not new to the channel. He has been on here, dropped some great knowledge, met this man at training camp. Definitely gonna be using him, definitely gonna be offering my expertise over on his side, on his channel. But let me go ahead and bring up JJ from FPFO. JJ, go ahead and tell the people what's up, man.
Yeah, what's popping, man? What's popping? It's good to be back. Good to see Dougie back in the building. You know, last time I saw you, I think we were at training camp, and then you just disappeared. We were supposed to link up for the Howard homecoming, everything.
Now look, I was at Howard homecoming, but I ain't go to that game because I was expected to see Andy Dalton be my starting quarterback, but I was at Howard homecoming, so I ain't gonna like you to do that one though.
Fair enough. I was there. I was in the city, but I ain't really move around the way I wanted to. Let's just say it.
Yeah, I got you.
How y'all doing, though? Appreciate y'all having me.
Yes, sir, man. Anytime, man. So again, everybody, welcome to the 2025 off-season first live on What's Up, Doug. You see the title. It says the 2025 season is a pivotal for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. We're going to do a little recap, get the guys' perspective on how the season went, how they feel how the season went. I know a couple people have already did a couple of lives. You guys haven't really heard my perspective. Like everybody said, I disappeared like a ghost. But Also, like I said, I'm gonna pull the chat up. If you do become a member, we already got a couple members. Our first member on What's Up, Doug, is no other than Mr. Red Swarm. I appreciate Big Aunt. Go ahead and becoming a member over here. So whenever you do see or hear that new member, we will be cooking up. Oh, whoa. I had something messed up. I don't know. My audio messing up.
Reverb. You got the reverb on it.
Yeah.
The reverb and the echo on it.
That echo.
All right, let me see.
The audio ain't messing up. I don't want to play.
Yeah, my audio messing up on it, but trust me, whenever you become a new member over here at What's Up, Dub, we're gonna go ahead and play our anthem, our theme over here. And I appreciate Nakari, one of our Panther supporters, making that track for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through the chat. Fellas, before we get into it, you guys already know the slides. Go ahead and just give me a brief. How do you feel the 2024 season went as a whole? Just give me a brief up, down. How are you guys feeling about it?
Y'all want me to go first?
It don't matter. Who gonna jump into it?
Sure.
Go ahead, JJ.
I'll kick it off. I'll say, as Carolina Panthers fans, I believe that we all had the same goals and objectives in mind this season, and that was to see Bryce Young develop. And I think if you look at what he did the last 6 or 7 games that he was the starting quarterback, I think that, that's a green check mark. And y'all know how vocal I've been about Bryce Young since he's been, the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers and since he's been drafted for real. So, I mean, I think that this season, obviously, like 5-12, I would say that, we're the most lit fan base, being 5-12, and end this season is 5-12. However, it feels good. Definitely optimistic. I know that we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of holes left on the team, but like I said, the main objective that was kind of echoed throughout the fan base was the fact that we wanted to see Bryce Young develop, and I think that he did a phenomenal job in doing so. And that's coming from probably, arguably, one of his toughest critics in the fan base, I would say. For real, just, in a moment of self-awareness and reflection. So, that's what I have so far.
All right, who's up?
Shoot, I go. Hey, let me tell you, this season was wild. It was like, the start of the season was like going to Carowinds and thinking you was gonna get on your favorite ride, that you ain't been on in a while. It was like me when I gained some weight and I went back and got on. I forgot what the name of that damn coaster is that you stand up on. It's still there. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? This shit ain't as comfortable as it was, last time I was on it. But that's how the season was for me. It started off trash and it was up and down. But I think the latter part of the season, we started heading in an upward trajectory. So I think it's a little bit of a little bit of hope we can take out of it, a little bit of promise, some things that they can build on, and hopefully continue to grow. But it's a lot of work they got to do, and we got to see if they can get it done.
Quan, go ahead.
Hey, simply put, bro, it was a roller coaster. Y'all saw me at the beginning of the year, bro. I was going in on the Panthers, bro. Like every single live, I was going in on the Panthers, man. I was fed up with it, chat. Simply put, I was fed up with it, man. But all in all, coming into this season, man, like JJ said, the expectation was to see Bryce Young improve. When we saw Bryce come out the first game, man, it was just like, yo, this ain't no improvement, man. I mean, yeah, granted, it's the first game of the season, yada yada. We ain't gonna get into it yet, but overall, man, it was a disappointment in the beginning. All throughout the season, man, what I'm saying, we started to get a little bit of hope. Okay, at least we ain't got to worry about getting another quarterback. All right, so everything else is still atrocious, man. I mean, 5 wins, we predicted that coming into the season, man. We already knew what it was going to be with this roster. So moving forward, bro, just looking for us to improve, man. Build around Bryce, man. Let's see what we can do.
Yes, sir. All right, AJ, what you got up?
So I agree with what JJ said. It was more of an up and down season for Bryce. He got benched in favor for Andy Dalton. Then we saw him come back into the game. He did look better. I'll say the biggest positive would be that offensive line. From day one, the offensive line looked good. So I give him credit for that. It was an up and down season. Like Quan just said, for the most part, Bryce Young, back half of the season, he was the biggest bright spot. You can continue to build around him. I still want to see a little bit more from Bryce, though. And Doug, you know how I am with quarterbacks taking with the first pick. He did play well. I just want to see a little more come out of him. I'm more so concerned about the defense. But overall, I will say the last 4 weeks were a positive on the season for the Carolina Panthers. But unfortunately, like for what Quan said, they only won 5 games on the year.
Yeah. I mean, that's the bad thing about it. We only did win 5 games.
Can I ask a question, or are you going to go?
Say that again?
I said, can I ask him a question real quick?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, JJ.
I just want to know what you mean when you say you want to see more. Like as far as what? Because I feel like Atlanta was a movie. Like, you feel me? Like I think that's damn near, if we get that version of Bryce, you know, it hit different. So I just want to know what you mean by more. Is it just like a consistency piece, or like is it still underwhelming to you?
Nah, just be more consistent. That's pretty much what it is. Now, the Atlanta game was his best game. That game and the Cardinals game was his best 2 games. And the Kansas City Chiefs game, I just want to see if he can do it for an entire season. And I'm not trying to be like 100% like unfair. Say Bryce got to ball out 4 touchdowns a game. Like, at the end of the day, it's a team game. But if he can do this for what is 18 weeks in the season now?
Yeah.
If he could do this for 18 weeks and be consistent and not hold the team back like how he was in the first 2 games, that's a great sign.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into it, fellas. Let's go ahead and shout out our sponsor here on the channel. It is SeatGeek. Any viewer that uses the code What's Up Doug on their first ticket purchase will receive $20 off on any ticket, sporting event, concert, high school. I know AJ and myself are here, so a lot of the high schools out here use SeatGeek. But again, shout out to our sponsor, SeatGeek. Again, if you're a first-time user with SeatGeek, for any ticket that you buy, you will receive $20 off your first ticket purchase. Again, shout out to our sponsor, SeatGeek, over here. What's Up, Doug? Also, we do have some super chats as well. Let me go ahead and get those out the way as well. Shout out to Red Swarm. He said, yo, 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 let's get it. Also, shout out to Red Swarm again for becoming a member. Also, shout out to CJ, who's here on the panel. Appreciate that membership as well, CJ, man.
With my music, Doug.
Let's see. Let's see if it works. If it don't, you already know. I know how to troubleshoot it. So let me see if it works. So I got you. I'm gonna play it. I got you. I promise you. I got you.
All right.
All right. So, fellas, you guys have already went and go ahead and start talking about it. As I can tell, the very first thing we're gonna talk about is Bryce Young. How confident is he our franchise quarterback? He had a total of 21 total touchdowns, rushing and throwing over the season. For the numbers, for people that might can't read or see the slide, it was basically 61 complete rate, 2,403 yards total, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Over the last 10 games, his QBR was 88.9, threw for 2,104 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So the question that I'm going to have to the panel, also to the chat as well, can Bryce Young build off the momentum he has shown during the last 10 games of the season heading into next year, or will the league show they have figured out Bryce Young? Anybody can go, or I can jump in. I'll say this. So everybody want to know what happened to Dougie. I was at New Orleans for the first game. And had my Bryce Young jersey on. My cousin was sitting there with me. He's a New Orleans Saints fan. He was like, what Bryce gonna do? I'm like, man, what Bryce showed in New York Jets, y'all about to be surprised. Whoop-de-woo. He gonna show out. Nah, it was bad. I literally took off my Bryce jersey and I was literally about to throw it. That's how mad I was. And I was just like, this can't be happening. Like, it was a bad taste. I already been to New Orleans twice, went 0-2. So then whenever we came home and played the Chargers, I was just like, nah, something is not right. So probably right around the Raiders, people are thinking, where's Dougie at? Yeah, I disappeared. I was like, I got plans for this year. Let me go ahead and enjoy my life outside of YouTube before I really crash out. It was more of Bryce Young didn't trust the coaching staff, he didn't trust his mechanics, and he didn't trust the weapons around him. Meaning that you had to improve offensive line. They know the weapons that you had or the offensive linemen that you had did not fit the scheme or your skill set. Then when you look at it, when it came to just his play, I think the best thing for Bryce Young was to actually get benched. Him getting benched was a humbling experience where I think we've all have went through humbling experiences and we hit the reset button. Bryce needed to hit the reset button. Is it fair to us as fans? Absolutely not, because the capital that we gave up for the draft. But I know what I was able to see where JJ said the last time I was with him was at training camp, and we were wowed by what Bryce was doing. And it was not translating over to the regular season. Do I blame Dave Canales for not playing him during the preseason? Absolutely. I've never said this. I actually do blame him for not having Bryce go through live reps during the preseason. It probably should have been more going into that Buffalo Bills game, but he should have had more live reps than his first real live rep was against week 1 with the New Orleans Saints. But I do think Bryce Young is the right quarterback for us. It's just a matter of he can't regress, because if he regresses, it's going to look bad on Dave Canales. We already know David Temper does not have patience. And then we might have to hit another rebuild / reset of a roster. But I'm going to let the other panelists go ahead and give their spiel before I continue talking about Bryce Young.
Hey,
Go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Doug, talking about that humbling experience, I think the biggest thing, and I saw this on Twitter, and I forgot who put it up there, but I think when he got benched, and he had to see for himself that offensive line was actually out there playing and protecting him, because it's like he had instant PTSD, the first 2 games of the season. It was like, I got the ball, I got to run, I got to take off. It's like until he sat on the bench and looked and was like, well, damn, they protected Andy Dalton. Oh, okay. And then when Andy Dalton had, the thumb injury in the car accident and whatnot, I think that was one of the biggest things for Bryce. Like, he went back and was like, okay, cool. I can trust my line. I can step up in the pocket. I can move around like I need to, and I don't have to sit there and get rid of this ball within a half a second of catching the snap. So, but yeah, I think that was big for him too.
All right, real quick. Nettis Creations, I appreciate you for grabbing that membership. Again, we do have memberships over here. What's up, Doug? At the end of the live, we will tell you guys a little bit the reason why those memberships are important going into the off season. And CJ, let's see if your song works. It's still echoing, so I'm gonna figure it out. But go ahead, man. Nettis Creations, I appreciate you grabbing that membership badge. Go ahead, JJ.
Yeah. So just to answer the question directly and then kind of giving context, I definitely think that he proved himself to be the franchise quarterback over the last 10 games. And again, I want everybody that's watching to understand that, like I started the whole, and Doug and CJ can attest to this, because I actually went toe-to-toe with Tony, CJ's co-host on Two Fans, all the way back in April about Bryce Young and just how I felt about him. So understand that I was one of Bryce's biggest critics and have been over the past 2 years. But I think that what he did over the last 10 games did prove a point. And I think that if you just look at his development, I mean, this is what I was I told Terrence, my co-host, and my producer Tavian on FPFO, like, what people don't realize is, like, Bryce came in, got drafted number 1, and immediately got thrown in the fire. So he never really had a chance or a time to just sit back and actually see the game on an NFL level. He never got that opportunity. And you talk about a guy that had to go through 2 new coaching staffs, dealt with the worst offensive line in NFL history his first season, et cetera, bare minimum at weapons, which he still does, but I guess we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But, there were a lot of things that were going against Bryce Young, man. There were a lot of things that were going against Bryce Young, and I think that time on the sideline where he got to sit back, observe, kind of watch a veteran quarterback operate this offense, I think that's really what did it for him. And then, not to be messy or nothing like that, but like, bruh, you gotta understand he 22. Why y'all laughing already? I ain't say nothing
No,
crazy.
I'm laughing at Kendall.
The
I'm laughing
comment.
at
The comment.
No, my
Yeah,
bad,
my
Kendall.
bad. The comment.
Kendall was like, I should have threw
damn.
my jersey. That's why I was laughing at.
Oh, facts. Yeah, no, I was about to say, like, bruh, as a 22, 23-year-old man, bruh, how mentally, like, Bryce is a very, very reserved guy, you know, cool dude, good guy, whatever the case may be. That shit gonna hit different if somebody got your girl on the big screen in Philly. It's gonna hit different, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it's
Yeah.
a lot of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that really played a part, in my opinion. And I think that, you know, some of the criticism, and I, again, looking in the mirror, some of the criticism that Bryce Young received his first year was very, very unfair. The first 2 weeks of the season, completely inexcusable. I'll say that. Inexcusable, but the fact that he was able to develop and get to the point that he was at, like, bro, we were really talking about Bryce Young's trade value within the fan base. We were talking about Bryce Young's trade value being a 4th or a 5th round pick max. And he goes from that to the last 10 games, 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, minimal turnovers, etc., which has been the problem, is the fact that he gives the football up, whether it be fumbles or interceptions. And really, he cut all of those. He cut all of those out. He operated the offense at a high level. You know, he had to deal with countless drops throughout the end of the year, right? And we'll talk about Xavier Leggett, I'm sure. We'll talk about, you know, a couple of the other receivers, like, and his wide receiver 1 to end the year was yet again a 35-year-old Adam Thielen. So, you know, there were a lot of things going against him, but I do believe that this season he proved to be the franchise quarterback. And if this front office does what it's supposed to do and goes out and gets, you know, a T, a Tyreek, a Garrett, whatever the case may be, then things are really going to be turned up, because we saw what he was able to do with all due respect, Jalen Coker and Adam Thielen and David Moore. You know what I'm saying? So I think he has it. I'm a believer at this point. And yeah, he totally proved me wrong. So all I can do at this point is just eat crow and just kind of wear it on my chest for real, because everything that I ever said about him is documented. So
Correct.
Yeah, I have faith in him.
All right, real quick, let me shout out before somebody else go. Antonio McClanahan, I appreciate you grabbing that membership badge. Welcome to the Dougie Effect. And I got Bleezo, man. Bleezo is one of my army battles, man, all the way over there in Japan. Appreciate you pulling up, watching the channel, Bleezo, and I appreciate you grabbing that Dougie Effect badge as well, man. All right, who else is about to go? DJ, did you go already?
Yeah, I went.
Oh, so Quan or AJ, go ahead and knock it out.
Hey, you want me to go? You got it, Quan.
Go ahead, AJ.
Okay, so it was an interesting season, to say the least. Now, Doug knows I like Bryce. I like Bryce a lot, especially from last season. He got a bad rep. I will say that. With that being said, the first 2 games, I ain't gonna lie, Doug, I was almost done, especially after that Saints game. Boy, that Saints game had me, man.
Tweaking.
Yeah, bad. But I'm with what JJ said. I don't think he should have started last year. And Doug, man, you talked about that.
Facts.
He's a rookie. I like to see some rookies sit. He went into a bad situation last year with the Panthers, and he was shell-shocked, like y'all said. He comes over to brand new coach. Now, I believe in this with young quarterbacks. I might think different. When you learn a different playbook, a new head coach, you're a rookie again, especially with the situation he had to deal with last year. He had Frank Reich and too many people in his ear at one time. And like JJ said again, behind one of the worst offensive lines we've seen. This year, they built the talent at the guard position, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, and you saw Icky play better at the left tackle position. Those last 10 games were special. I look at the games against Kansas City and Philadelphia. The Panthers could have won those games. Let's just be real. And we'll talk about the defense, I'm pretty sure. If the defense played better against Kansas City, maybe they win that game. Xavier Leggett, he dropped the football against the Eagles. Bryce delivered a dime. We didn't see passes like this early in the year. We didn't see this last year. So there's development there. He's able to step into the throws, and he's using his mobility like how he did against the Buccaneers. And I'm not talking about the game they got blown out in. I'm talking about the first one that they played against each other. If Eddie doesn't miss the field goals and Chuba doesn't fumble in overtime, we're talking about a different situation here. That's like 2-3 extra wins. So they possibly could have had 7-8 wins on the season. So what Bryce was able to do, he played winning football. I think moving forward, he is the franchise quarterback. They need to put more weapons around him. Jalen Coker, no disrespect, had a solid season for an undrafted rookie. That's not the ideal situation to put your second-year quarterback in with a new head coach. And especially when your first-round pick is dropping the football a lot, like how Leggett did. And he had another drop against the Saints that went for a pick. The cornerback came out of nowhere and took the ball out of his hands. So little situations like that, to clean up on it, I think Bryce will look even better. And his numbers would be even better too.
All right, real quick. Shout out my guy, Bleezo, with that big super chat. He said, I really feel like Bryce had epiphany when he was benched. Afterwards, he looked like a total different quarterback. In 2025, expecting big things from Bryce. If we can improve defense and keep adding weapons, we win in the South. Appreciate that, fam. I definitely could not say it any better. I definitely do think the defense is the issue. We are going to talk about that throughout the live. Again, Bryce is the hottest topic right now in the Carolinas, but Bryce isn't the biggest problem in Carolina. Fact. So go ahead, Quan.
I could damn near make an argument that we should have won the South this year, but I digress. Quan, go ahead.
Hey, I feel that, man. But look, I mean, speaking on Bryce development, look, like I said earlier, it was a roller coaster. Like we saw at the beginning of the season, we literally anticipating what can Bryce be in his year 2. We expect an improvement. We went out and got a head coach specifically for Bryce. We got the offensive line fixed specifically for Bryce. So this year told me everything I needed to know. This is about improving Bryce. So with him coming out in those first 2 games and putting on that performance, it was pitiful. Let's call it what it is, chat. It was pitiful. So what we saw out of that, he deserved to get benched. I'm glad that they made the decision to actually bench him. And then I think it was beneficial after all. So like once he finally came back in, he showed massive improvement. I mean, I'm talking about like the difference from the first 2 weeks from what we're seeing now is like a night and day quarterback. Like this is a night and day difference with Bryce Young, man. I mean, I'm talking about he's stepping up in the pocket. That's something he wasn't doing in the first 2 weeks. He was just trying to throw off platform throws when he didn't have to. His back foot and all that shit, man. It was terrible football. You know what I'm saying? Still doing stuff that he did in his rookie year, holding the ball. But he finally seen something clicked up there, man. Like something clicked up there, and he finally started balling. Like he finding his receivers quicker, he making quicker decisions. Like AJ said earlier, he said he pulling the ball now. He's being more mobile. Like Bryce Young, literally is a night and day difference. So like moving forward, I think he definitely is a franchise quarterback, man. I definitely like JJ, bro. I gotta eat the crow too, bro. It's documented, bro. I was going in on Bryce. Like I'm gonna be real with you. The first 2 weeks. As somebody who was really all in on Bryce, that was like, I'm talking about going toe-to-toe with everybody, like all the Bryce haters all last season, man, and anticipating this and just getting like embarrassed. It was just like, well, damn, man. Like, I don't know if I can believe in Bryce. I can't get behind that. Like, he deserved to get benched. But hey, in the end, man, I believe in the underdog. The underdog finally shut me up, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bryce, man. He done got right. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm thinking I wasn't gonna drop the link. But this is the first live of 2025. I'm going to still, again, if I drop the link and you hit the link, please respect the panel. We do have a guest on. JJ is the one that is the guest here. I know JJ going to be like, duh, don't do that. But his perspective. Yeah, all right, but you know me. You already know how we get down over here. You know how we get down over here. Sure. So I already know Kendall probably itching to come up here. So I'm going to drop the link here in a few. But I will say this. I didn't give up on Bryce. The video that I did is, whenever I talked about Bryce over the offseason, was put up or shut up. I sent it to Quan. Quan was like, Doug, you basically said it. We got everything that he needs. Now it's time for him to show. And I think a lot of people are like, he did the same exact thing that he did year 1, Doug. So, yeah, you probably ran because, you know, you were wrong about Bryce. I still think nobody can really say if we're right or wrong about Bryce. Because, again, AJ pointed out, he had to go with a coach that did not want him. He actually had division in upstairs. It was reported that whenever they were having media or the media was waiting, they hear people yelling across the office space, arguing with each other. Then whenever you bring in Dave Canales, I think Bryce just didn't believe the process. Yes, he showed it in practice, but whenever it came to games, it didn't translate. But again, I think he had to have that humbling experience himself to actually he actually had to have that humbling experience himself to really understand that I have to do better. And we have seen better. Again, I can't blame everything on Bryce, but I do know he's part of what the problem was. But now you really can't say it's on Bryce from what he showed those last 10 games.
Yeah. And I just want to say this too, Doug, because I've heard you said this twice, and I got to give you some pushback. But like, trust is a two-way street, bro.
Correct.
And I'm fully bought in on Dave Canales. I think that the revamp and culture is abundantly clear. I think that he's a good head coach. We saw some ups and downs with him, but that's to be expected with a rookie head coach. But like, we can't we can say Bryce didn't necessarily trust the process and didn't trust the coaching style, but I can say the same thing for the coaching staff and Canales too, because there were multiple times where Dave Canales seemed unsure if Bryce Young was going to be the quarterback that we moved on with. Multiple times, whether it be the play calling in the first 2 weeks, whether it be the indecision in the press conferences, etc. So trust is a two-way street, bro. So I would say that Bryce didn't trust the coaching staff, but I will also say like there were definitely glaring times where Dave Canales didn't trust Bryce Young at all. Like you saw that in what was that, week 2? When he tweaked out on the sideline, it was like 3rd and 8, and we run a bubble screen to Miles Sanders or whatever, and he tweaked out. Like it's a two-way street.
Facts.
Wait, what did he say? He said,
"Don't worry. Don't you worry about that person. He will get kicked out the chat. He know exactly who he is. He will get kicked out the chat."
Sound like we got a hater in the building.
He's a Saints fan, so you put two and two together. Put two and two together.
Tell him I got $150 for him right now. We win the South next year. I'm not even with all that talking shit. This year I'm not with all the talking. I don't care what we.
I like that.
I got $150 for you right now. Simple as that. Because it like I said, I can make an argument we should have won the South this year. So we can do something for sure. And you don't have no reason to talk to me because, with all due respect, y'all finished below us in the division. That shit says 4 Saints, 3 Panthers. So, but I digress. I got $150 for you. We can do whatever we want to do. Doug, you can get his information for me.
That's my big cuz, JJ.
Yeah, and I'm good money.
Hey, but before we continue, man, I appreciate this other content creator, Kendall, the GOAT, pulling up from Black Cat Panther podcast. What's going on, Kendall?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Panna? What's going on,
What's
everybody?
up, GOAT? How you doing?
GOAT, what's going on, man? Good to see you up in here.
All right. You know what? Shit, I'm gonna be nice. You said it's a New Year. It's New Year's, right? It's New Year's. Everybody, it's New Year's, right? 2025. I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm gonna be right because in 2024 I'd have come on. I'd have bought the black goat on this month, and I'd have just started roasting off the rip. But I'm gonna be nice. How y'all doing? How's everybody?
And then I don't believe your grill get that hot, dog.
Huh? I'm gonna be everybody, huh? Man,
I said I don't believe your grill get that hot, GOAT.
What's that thing in a funeral home? They put the bone and melt bones. I melt bones, boy. I melt bones.
You got a furnace, GOAT.
I got a kennel or whatever they want, a kiln.
Hey, Kendall, so we can continue. Did you want to talk about Bryce, or you just want to jump right into it?
No, I do not want to talk about Bryce. No.
Okay. God, no. All right, so the next slide we got. This is my perspective. This is not the panel. This is my perspective. Offensive MVPs is the offensive line. Let me stop the banner so you guys can see everybody's name. Reason why I say the offensive line is the MVP, because without this offensive line, even when we had injuries with Austin Corbett getting hurt, Ike Ekwonu got hurt. Who else got hurt? Taylor Moton got hurt. Basically, our offensive line, only person that did not miss a game was Robert Hunt till the end of the season, where it really didn't count. But when you look at it, this offensive line is the MVP to me, is because Chuba Hubbard wouldn't have his 1,000 yards. Bryce Young wouldn't look as great as he's looked going into the resurgence of his career in the second half of it. I know a lot of people saying, well, Doug, you're saying Chuba Hubbard is not the MVP. We're going to talk about Chuba, but I think without this offensive line, Chuba Hubbard would have not been able to give the stats and the numbers that he was able to produce behind this line if we had the line from Frank Wright's era, which he almost did eclipse even not starting to the second half of the season. But this offensive line, I think, deserves to be the MVP of the offense side of the ball.
Agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree.
100%.
Oh, I actually thought I was gonna have some pushback. So hey,
I mean, hell, that was the biggest improvement that we could have had on this roster. I mean, y'all saw it from last year. Hell, 62 sacks. That ain't nothing to be proud of. I mean, so they got rid of everybody to go ahead and fix the offensive line, man. So I mean, the money paid off. They look good.
But once again,
I would
Quan,
say
that you can't blame all the 62 sacks on the offensive line. That same kid came out of college, and what did he do? What was he in college?
No, not necessarily blaming all the sacks on him. I mean, just by the number, the total number. But yeah, we know Bryce was holding the ball too. We know he created a lot of his own sacks. Absolutely.
Okay, and
Right.
then
he might have created like 7 of them, but we're not gonna act like everybody up front won't getting beat like a drum. We're not gonna do that.
Right.
Jesus, Lord,
still
hold
bad
the
at the end of the day.
wheel,
That was
my
terrible.
Savior
Look on
in
film.
Christ. But anyway, woo, Lord, when you spend $180 million, you know what I'm saying?
Get it off your chest.
It has to improve. It has to improve. When you
That's
spend
a
that
fact.
type of money on offense, it has to improve. That's all I gotta say. There you go. Okay.
Facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
all right.
Okay.
So
Hey, and
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
CJ.
though,
No,
I
go
did
ahead.
I did want to say special shout out to Brady Christensen too, because he has played damn near all across the offensive line, center,
facts.
guard. I think he played a game at tackle, and he is a free agent this year. So, are the Panthers going to be able to do enough to keep him from going somewhere? Because, barring any major injuries, our offensive line is set for next year. You know what I mean?
So
But he did play a pivotal role in all this.
So you saying that, I have to shout out a name, and I'm gonna get on Quan because I told him whenever the all season. Icky, I'll say this. Icky did fail sometime, but Icky looked good this year. And can't he do it back-to-back years? Is my question. He looked a lot better in pass protection, run game. He was killing it, which is what he's known for. But I want to see, can the growth continue in, I think, year 4. I said year 3. I think this is it year 4 for him next year?
It usually take an defensive lineman 3 years, to fully develop. Just look at Derek Brown, anybody in the trenches. Somebody let you like a Panay Sewell or Humphreys or somebody like that, one of these elite guys, plug and play type dude. It takes about 3 years going into that
I
third
think
year.
this is year 4 for him.
Yeah, I think he's going into year 4.
Yeah,
Quan,
he's going
you
to
got
year
nothing
4.
to say because I'm surprised you ain't come off mute.
Look, no, I was off. I was trying to let you finish, man. Icky, look, man, I'll give Icky his credit. I mean, he made some improvement, but I don't think he was worth the 6th overall pick. If you look at the film, it's so easy for guys to brush past him. I mean, I ain't gonna bring up Michael Parsons. I mean, Michael Parsons is a dog, regardless on who he on, man. But if you look at the film with Ike Ekwonu, it's still guys brushing past him, man, in pass protection. Like, he's still not necessarily a 6th overall pick to me. Like, I think Brady Christensen did a better job holding down a left tackle, but not to knock Ike, man. Again, he made some improvements, but I still don't necessarily buy into him.
But you know what? And I think I got to give Icky a little bit of credit, though, Quan. Now that Cowboys game was bad, but I don't think he consistently had, like bad games like that. He had Josh Naaman on the other side of him in that game, and it was just, they pinned their ears back and they was just like, bump it. We gonna get you no matter what. That was just the offensive line picked that, not picked, but that was the day they had a terrible ass game, all the way around. But I don't think we can, Well, and I'll say this for me. I don't think Icky had like a consistently, bad season. He did have moments, but I think he definitely improved from last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody else got
you get
anything else before we go to the next slide?
CJ brought up a great point. Anytime that boy has a weak guard beside him, just like you talked about year one, turnstile at guard, right guard and left
Facts,
guard.
go.
And
Facts.
anytime, man, people just don't, man. When you talking about, I like talking about a line because I was a lineman. I am a lineman. I'm still a lineman at heart. When you have it's like a chain. Soon as you have a weak link in there, it gets exposed. And interior guard play is so important. You just seen it this year right here when you upgraded
Facts.
those two positions. You seen it. Even you could even put K Mays, who's trash, in there at center and not get exposed like that when you have two interior guards at the level of Hunt and Lewis. And Lewis. So even though Lewis, he had a couple games he was out, and like you said, Yasdam had to come in, Brady had to fill in. But I don't know, man. Y'all was talking about paying Brady earlier. What you gonna do with Corbett?
I'll
Let
let
him
him
walk.
go. I'll
You
let him
gotta
Yeah,
let
walk.
yeah,
him
yeah,
go.
yeah.
I
Let
think
him
he
walk.
gone.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah, you
very
gotta go.
simple. Let him go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got K Mays that really showed up, and then if you do re-sign Brady Christensen, they're your two, and you still got Andrew Ram that was undrafted.
Bro, before you even go that far, like the fact that Corbett has had 2 season-ending injuries in back-to-back seasons, damn near like 3 for real. I mean, you don't even
Hmm.
have to really go down the roster to know that he's just simply not the answer. So it helps that you have the answer already on the roster. But even if you didn't, he might have been able to get $5 million, $5 million
Not
over like
even that.
a half year. Yeah, like you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying. So like that, that's just the icing on the cake for real. That we do have the answer on the line, but even if we didn't, that's not one of the free agents that I'm looking to
Retain.
for
Yeah.
to retain at all. Not at
Hmm
Yeah.
all.
Hey, now let me ask y'all this. So if you try to lure Brady Christensen to re-sign with the Panthers, if you were Dave and Dan and all them, would you say, okay, you know what, we're going to make you our starting center going into next year? And do you put K Mays as being the backup? Or do you think K Mays has done enough to say, all right, well, I'm the starting center going forward? And then maybe that's something that Christensen, like, you know what, I'm going to go and slide on somewhere else where I can get a chance to start.
Camp battle.
I was about to say, in my opinion, it's going to be a camp battle. That's number one. Number two, ultimately, if you want to retain Brady Christensen, you're going to have to pay him starting money regardless. So it's
Yeah.
just like we
Yeah.
can tell you whatever we want to tell you. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily like. Obviously, everybody in the NFL wants to be on the field, but like, I don't think that
Hmm.
that's going to make a difference. Like, if we pay him starting money and just say, look, you already see what we're building. At that point, the ball is in his court. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that you make that
Facts.
commitment. You don't make that commitment pre the summer. You don't
Yeah.
make that.
I
But
got
I
you.
mean, but he's just so valuable again that you can't let him walk because he can play 1 through 5 on the
Hmm.
offensive line. So it's just
Yeah.
like, bro, you may not be the starting center, but we can almost guarantee that somebody is going to get hurt at some point, and you're going to have the opportunity to
You
get
can
on
get
the
those
field,
reps.
irregardless, right? So
Yeah.
it's just,
Hmm.
yeah, that's not a commitment I would be willing to make in a free agent pitch, but I think that the vibes are immaculate in the building right now. So I don't know, we're gonna have
Got
to open that checkbook up though, for sure, in my opinion.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
they don't
That's
like
true.
doing that. You know that. And then
Nah, they
knowing
don't.
their
You
history,
right?
knowing their history, I would see them doing something like one of them fourths, being this is a talented big man draft, going in there and addressing the center position. Because you've been drafting guards for the last 3 years. You still got Savala over there, and like you
Yeah.
said,
He's
K
sorry as
Mays
hell.
is not, but you still on that rookie money versus spending money on Brady.
Yeah.
And I know Brady has stood in there like a champ, when you ask him to, but I mean, if he wants X amount of dollars that they're not willing to spend, you can go in the draft. We got two fourths. And this is a talented big man. We've been blessed. This is a talented big man draft.
Like I said, before we continue, I appreciate everybody pulling up for our first live on 2025, man. I got my brother to my left, my co-host Uncle Quan, my big brother CJ, Kendall the GOAT from Black Cat Panther Podcast, my partner in crime down here in Texas, man, AJ from All Pro Sports Talk, and the guest of tonight, JJ from FPFO. Again, I appreciate everybody joining us, man. Again, we are monetized and we do have memberships. Again, before we close out, we'll tell you guys why the memberships are important here at What's Up, Doug. There is a incentive with getting the memberships right now before, yes, today's prices were not yesterday. Well, how's it go? Because Kendall say it great. Kendall,
Yesterday's prices
aren't tomorrow's prices.
Yeah.
There you go. I wanted Kendall because Kendall be saying
Hey.
it over there on his channel, so I wanted Kendall to say it. But yeah, like I said before the night ends, we'll tell you guys what's going on with those memberships over here. What's up, Doug? So the next topic that we're going to talk about is Chuba Hubbard, the next great running back here in Carolina. Career year for RB1. He had a total of 250 carries, 1,195 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Do we have a top 10 back here in Carolina? And for me, I will say he needs a partner in crime, but I definitely do think Chuba Hubbard is the running back that needs to be here. I was thinking Jonathan Brooks was going to do something. Unfortunately, we lost Brooks, with that ACL. I was expecting high expectations for him coming into his rookie year. But I do think Carolina needs to either add via free agency, but I'm really hoping we draft another young running back in this draft here coming up in 2025. But to say, do we have a top 10 running back? Yes, statistically we do. Chuba Hubbard was in the top 5 throughout the year based off the scheme. And that also goes into Bryce. A lot of people say, oh, this is on Bryce's shoulders. This is on Bryce's shoulders. Not really, because when you think about it, we're a run-first team. We're a run-first scheme. So that's going to help as well, too. With, as far as Chuba can take us, it's also going to go hand in hand with coaching. Sometimes Dave Canales did go against his own coaching scheme of not putting the ball in Chuba's hands and trying to force Bryce to be the hero. So for me, I think going into 2025, we do have, we gave him the contract extension right before we went to Germany. And I just think he needs another person behind him to have, which I'm hoping Carolina could have, a Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery type of running back room. Who wouldn't want that, 1-2 punch that whenever one goes out, the other one can do the same thing almost, but it's just a different type of running style. But I do like what Chuba showed. I think Chuba will grow off of it. I think he'll be even better coming 2025.
Hey, prior to this year, I think some of the best that we saw from Chuba Hubbard was when he had that pair. You know what I'm saying? Like when we had Deontay Foreman, him and Deontay Foreman was going crazy. I mean, they would go back and forth. That kept their legs fresh and they kept them in rotation. And I mean, that's why we broke records with our ground game, man. So Chuba was able to come in and do what he do. And I mean, it kept him fresh. And he was still able to put up those numbers and still able to get like 100-yard games, whatever. But same thing with Christian McCaffrey. He did a little bit with Christian McCaffrey when we had him here as well. I mean, McCaffrey got the bulk of the carries, but Chuba did have a little bit of flash here and there. And then you fast forward to, this season, he's finally able to shine. And then when we finally got JB healthy and in the lineup, it was looking like a nice little 1-2 punch. I mean, JB was starting to slowly come along, but it took a little bit of pressure off of Chuba Hubbard as well. So moving forward, man, I do think we need to pair him with like another solid back. Like let's get like a Montgomery and Gibbs kind of thing going and take the pressure off of Chuba, man. Like, because he obviously got hurt towards the end of the season. It's a long season, man. 18 weeks for a running back taking that many hits like constantly throughout the season. He's gonna need a back. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna need a back to kind of take the load off of him, man. So moving forward, if we can get him a nice little pair, I think he'll be all right, man.
Who else? Anybody else got something talk about Chuba?
Go ahead, CJ.
I was gonna say I agree with Quan. And at some parts of this season, I don't think Chuba necessarily needed, a running mate with him, but it wouldn't hurt. I think Chuba would have had even more yards. Like Quan said, there were times where, Canales got away from the run game. He said he was going to be stubborn with the run. And I say this a lot. I say it seems like Canales scripted plays, and it was almost like if something happened in that first series or two that just messed his script up, he was out of whack for the rest of the game. But then in some games it was just like, okay, you know what, he said what he was going to do, he stuck with it, he stuck with his game plan, and look how those games turned out. But it's just like some of it just like glaring. It's like, okay, we go out there on the first drive, we score a touchdown, and it's like the next drive, the entire game plan changes for whatever reason. So, but yeah, I do think Chuba is a top 10 back. And I think that, even in the last game of the season, we didn't have Chuba, but you saw what Canales and them did. They stuck with the run. Then let me see, Mike Boone and Blackshear were, shoestring tackles away from breaking really big runs. And then you got throwing Miles Sanders in there. Now, Miles Sanders came back. He was healthy, but, he was moving the pile. You know what I mean? You go on the first down and you get 5 or 6 yards. That's big for setting up second and potential third down. And then when Dave Canales go out there and he gets away from that, then we see how those games turned out. But yeah, I agree. I think Chuba can be a top 10 back.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that too. Like, talk about going away from the run game too early. That's what we saw against Dallas. That's why those defensive linemen were able to pin their ears back the way they were, honestly. So, going back to the whole Ikem Ekwonu conversation and everything, like, yeah, he was getting beat like a drum, him and Yash, but at the same time, like, Dave and them kind of put us in a tough position up front, But I do believe Chuba is a top 10 back, or he was a top 10 back this season. That's what I'll say. I do agree as well that we have to get somebody to pair him or pair with him rather. And I don't know what Jonathan Brooks is going to do. I don't know who Jonathan Brooks is. I don't know what he's going to be. And unfortunately, if you just look at the situation as a whole, like, there's a potential that Jonathan Brooks doesn't play next year, which that would be smart for the front office to not allow him to play, because I thought that really was going to be the move this season. When you saw some of his likes and stuff like that on social media, kind of hinting at the fact that he was frustrated that he wasn't on the field yet. I thought they were going to shut him down for the year, which obviously that may have been the better decision, but hindsight is always 2020. So I don't know. I would like to ask the panel: is Miles Sanders an option?
No.
Hell no.
Yes, he is.
No.
No.
Hell no.
Hey, it was just a question.
What's his trade?
Yes, he is.
What's his trade
I'm gonna play
value?
devil's
You
advocate,
just gonna
man.
cut
God
him
damn.
and release him?
I can't believe me.
That's what we doing. That's what we doing.
It's a lot of money invested in him, man. It is.
That's what I'm saying. So
he still got
he's
one
not
more
going
year left on
nowhere.
his contract.
You might as well
Nobody
let
gonna
him
pay
get
that
that 1
freight.
year.
All right, so let me ask you, Kendall, with Miles Sanders, what you saw against Atlanta, was it enough for him to spill Chuba Hubbard whenever we need him to spill Chuba Hubbard in 2025?
Yes, because why are you going to draft capital or any more free agent capital to the running back position? Why are you going to do that this year when you still got Miles? You don't know. Brooks could come back and be, I mean, what? We still got what on the contract? 2 more years, 3 more years, whatever. He's going to be, like my man say, he's going to be out for the 2025 season. Let's just go ahead and get ready for that. Or when he come back at the end of the year again or whatever, because that ACL is going to take that. It's like he tore it right when he did the same thing in Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mirror image, not deja vu. You know what I'm saying? So Miles Sanders and Chuba, you already know Chuba can tote the rock 200 times plus. He gonna be your workhorse. So that's what they've been doing with him. That's what they're gonna continue to do. You already pay him. You got Miles up there. You ain't gonna be able to get off that contract. Stop collecting dead money. That's all we doing.
That's a fact.
Let's go ahead and get out of that. Yeah, let's go ahead and get out of that and go into 2026. Stop just saying. I don't know where people keep thinking this big time free agency just gonna crack and come out the sky and drop down from the heavens. I don't know where that guy gonna come from.
All right, so
let me agree.
Let me ask the panel this question: with Blackshear being a free agent, would you guys be upset that we draft a running back, let's say 5th or 6th round?
No, I wouldn't personally.
No,
I think you
I mean,
need
I
it.
Yeah.
I mean, because you look.
Like
Only
much
reason why I say
later,
that you
nah.
only have 2 running backs on the roster for next year right now, and that's Chuba
Miles and
and
Chuba.
that's Miles.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
I
I'm
mean, you
not
need
counting
it.
Jonathan Brooks because again, it will be stupid for the Panthers to rush this man after having back-to-back in the same knee. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm saying we need to get another back. I understand where you and Picker are saying, Kendall, when I was saying I don't want him back, which I understand what you guys are saying with the dead money, and I agree with you on that point, Kendall. But I do think we need to draft one, and there are actual running backs that you can get in the 4th or 5th round that can come in and either compete with Miles or be a spell running back. Lord forbid something happens to both of them.
Yeah, I
But-
agree. I agree with that. Just to say, like, you know, you have 2 picks in the 4th and 3 in the 5th. Is that accurate, or is it the other way around? Irregardless, you have 5 picks in those 2 rounds. So, I mean, as a fan, I'm not going to be upset if you decide to go running back with one of those picks, as long as you go defense with at least 4 or 5 of the other ones that you have. I'm not going to be upset by any stretch of the imagination.
All right. Anybody else got anything about the running back position?
I wouldn't be upset either, man. Us getting a running back, you can still get a solid running back later in the rounds, man. So like,
Facts.
like what's the dude named Scatterboo?
Cam Scatterboo?
From
Yeah,
Arizona
like
State.
he's coming what, like they projected him 3rd round or something like that. You could get a steal out of him, man. Heck yeah.
And he a
That's
dog.
true. That's true, Monet.
Yeah.
We did meet with him at the Honolulu Bowl.
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, you have options. But the only reason why I even asked about Miles Sanders initially is just because, like, I know that he's like public enemy number 1 as it pertains.
Nah, he's number 2.
Nah,
Number
that's
two.
Ian Thomas.
On Black Cat, he's number 2.
Sure, Ian Thomas. You're right. Ian Thomas is one.
Ian Thomas is public enemy number 1 around here.
But we don't have to worry about him any longer from the looks of it. But I only presented the question just because I've had a internal conflict with it myself, because I don't know, like, I've shitted on Miles so much, bro, but it's just like, I mean, before he came to Carolina, he was a top 10, 15 back, however you want to look at it. And we're saying, like, we have our number 1 back in Chuba Hubbard. Like, it doesn't hurt for you to be able to reach in your back pocket and be like, okay, well, we can throw this in there a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that Miles Sanders, the injuries kind of hurt him this year, obviously,
The
with
injury
in Germany.
the injury.
Yeah, but like when he came back, he was kind of toting that shit.
Yeah.
Like he was running it with a different level of confidence and swagger, and really it was very similar to what I was seeing from him in training camp. That if people go back and watch my training camp videos, like, that was one of the biggest things that kind of had me shocked, was the fact that Miles Sanders was running like he had a chip on his shoulder throughout the duration of training camp.
He did.
Like,
Hey, through the air too, man. He was nice through the air too.
Yes, every aspect. So I was kind of surprised and shocked with what we saw from him in the first 6 or 7 weeks, because I was just like, this ain't the same Miles that I saw over the summer. But then as the season went on, like, he comes back from the injury and stuff like that, that was the Miles that I saw. So, like, and then you see him in the, you know, after the game talking to Vashta, and like, you know, that I just felt like I needed to prove a point that I need the goddamn ball. That's what he said.
That's what the man said.
That's what he said.
Exactly.
And
he was auditioning too.
Yeah, exactly. And it was being reported that they were about to try and put the ball in Bryce's hands on the goal line to end the game. And they said he's tweaked out.
Yeah.
Lost his mind.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to walk in the end zone. So, you know, I understand why people dislike Miles, and I understand, like, you know, a lot of people were hyped up, and he has been disappointing up to this point. However, like, you already still, like, have him under contract. So I don't really understand what the point would be in cutting him. If you can go, you know, use a 4th or a 5th, you have his backup. Shit, you can go back and get Mike Boone. Honestly,
that's my guy right there.
Because Mike Boone, hey, quiet as kept, Mike Boone was really toting that shit.
And training camp.
I couldn't understand for the life of me why
he was only carries, bro.
No, bro, he was getting like 2, 3, 4 carries a game when Miles Sanders was down, and I really couldn't understand why. Because every time he touched it, he was popping it 5, 6 yards a carry. So, you know, you have options. You definitely have options.
Yeah, you.
Hey,
I mean, you. Go ahead, CJ.
Oh, I was gonna say, go. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Do not create any more dead money where we do not have to have it, because our cap situation looked a lot better going into the season when we're thinking about this year. Because I was like, 2025, we should have a whole lot of cap money. Here we are in 2025. That cap situation is not looking all that great. Now we do have Brant Tillis, who's supposed to be, a cap genius or whatnot. Hopefully he can make some things shake, move some things around, and free up some space. But do not create dead money where you don't need to, because if Miles can stay healthy, if Miles Sanders can stay healthy, we see what he can do. Okay, it might be a situation where him and Chuba we might already have that dynamic duo, that we want. Okay, and then let Miles play out his contract, and if Miles wants to go off somewhere next year, hopefully Jonathan Brooks is back ready to go. And if he's not, like y'all said, if we spend one of those 4th or 5th round picks on a running back, then we already got something in the mix too. But I gotta agree with GOAT. Do not make any more dead money where you don't have to.
That's a fact. So let me go ahead and put this up. And I'm gonna tighten my hat up because this right here is gonna probably drive me crazy. And I'm gonna pull it down so everybody can see everybody's face. This defense, I ain't even gonna go over the numbers. I hope y'all say, Doug, that's too small, because I'm glad Kendall's up here. I definitely been trying to get on with him and Q once I let everybody know I was coming back in 2025 to talk. There's really nothing else to talk about. Like, we made history this year with the defense. As much grief that I hear people giving Bryce Young, I think Evero and his defense got passed because of, he had injuries, or we're playing with, warehouse players, players that wouldn't be playing on other teams. One thing for me is that may be right, but when you're stubborn and you do not, change schemes up and you see things happening. Prime example in Atlanta, whenever you throw the same fade route and you don't have a safety over the side, even though I understand it was man-to-man, when you have run schemes that they're running right behind the same exact hole, I understand he didn't have everything at his disposal for a D coordinator, but there needs to be changes going into 2025 with this defense. I'm glad Canales did during his postseason presser was like, we're going to tweak the defense, but we're not going to go out to 3-4. I don't know what that tweaking is going to be, but I do know also that there have been reports out, and I've even heard everybody on here that's done a recap on this team. We're going after edge in the free agency, and we know defenses they need in the draft. So for me, I'm hoping year 3 is no more excuses. The same way like I said, the live I had for Bryce Young, there's no more excuses. Evero should only have 5 games. I know people were giving Bryce 1 game in year 2. 5 is pushing it. But 5 games, if this defense looks just like the garbage juice, dumpster juice, like CJ says, if it's just like that in 5
garbage juice trash,
like he just said, in 5 weeks, it's time for him to go, man. It's time for him to go.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Like I said, this you already guessed, so go ahead.
Hey,
go ahead.
I'm with you, JJ. I'm with you,
bro. Everybody wants to be so up in arms about what Evero did this year and everything like that. And cool, listen to me. I understand. I get it. But when we do our postseason press conferences and our GM goes on the stand and says, putting it in my own words, a little R-rated, but goes on the stand and says, I fucked up. I didn't give him enough talent.
Facts.
Thank you.
I didn't give him enough talent. I fucked up. So how can I go look at the defensive coordinator when we're rolling out in week 18? We're rolling out Bartholomew. We're rolling out Deshaun Williams, who has been up and down, off the roster, on the roster, practice squad, etc. He was one of our best defensive linemen over the last 4 or 5 games of the season. Your main pass rusher number 1 is an aging Jadeveon Clowney, who, with all due respect, I think he played well. So I'll give him that throughout the year. There were opportunities and times where he looked old as hell. But at the same time, I'll give him his credit. But, like, bro, if we just go up and down and then you look at it and you see captain number 1 and captain number 2 are both out for the start of the year, and now I'm looking at Evero like, nah, you fucked up. Bro, Dave Canales literally 4 or 5 weeks before the season ended said the reason why we can't allow J.C. Horn to travel is because of personnel.
Correct.
Like, so every step of the way, they've told you that, like, the talent just simply isn't there. But then people want me to go look at Evero and say it's Evero, is this, is that. Do I agree with everything he does philosophically? Absolutely not. However, we're not gonna act like me, Doug, everybody on this panel, we're not gonna act like we couldn't have went to training camp and potentially got a job on this defense with how shit ended up. Like, honestly, we just simply can't do that, bro. Like, and you know, it's just a ploy, bro. It's a ploy. And like, I hate the fact that, like, to bring race into it, but like, we know how this goes, bro. So the fact that he did get a second life as a black coach in the NFL,
that's a huge.
now we're talking about somebody that consistently has been or had a top 10, 12 defense almost every year. Like, people forget this defense was actually serviceable last year. Maybe not 24, 25, but 23, 24. This defense was actually serviceable. And unfortunately, our offense was so bad, they didn't have the opportunity to display it. But we're just not going to act like Evero is just, you know, some dog shit defensive coordinator that doesn't understand scheme, doesn't understand personnel. Like, I just can't allow that to happen when Dan Morgan goes on the stand after the season and tells me that we made a mistake in the front office and we're going all in on free agents defensively. I can't let that happen. Derek Brown goes down and Shaq Thompson goes down.
So I'll say this. I'm gonna let Kendall go because Kendall hit the link, and I'm gonna let the rest of the panel go. I lobbed it up because, again, I have been defending Bryce. You took the words out of it, JJ, because it was really like a alley hoop, and you slammed it because, again, when Dan Morgan said I have to do my job of being a GM and help this roster, he did say it. Regardless of what was on the product of the field, yes, that does fall underneath Evero, but he can't fall on that sword, and that's what Dan Morgan did. Dan Morgan fell on the sword because he's the reason why we didn't have depth pieces. He's the reason why, regardless of them wanting to bring Jordan Fuller in, yes, they retain Xavier Woods. These are some of the players that he wanted on his defense, but now they see, you know, we have to do bigger and better. So go ahead, Kendall, if you wanted to say something.
Well, it was just like my man said. You got selective memory around here in this Panther fan base. This guy, Dan Morgan, comes on and nobody talked about that interview or that that post, the leaving out. The exit panel, that the GM always does. You know what I'm saying? Because Federer does his, and nobody really talked about Fitz when he did his, and he admitted to about the same shit. You know what I'm saying? That year that he got fired, but nobody. I mean, man, when I went the biggest podcast and all that stuff, because every damn time you turn around, somebody's throwing out an excuse. The only 100% thing what happened, you allocated $180 million for the offense. If we'd have messed around and won 7 or 8 games and the offense been in shootouts, what everybody thought they were going to do, and Bryce Young had 4,000 yards or whatever, then they said, yeah, this is what we meant to do. And then now we're going to put a couple pieces on the defense. Everybody's been, just running around here. But then you got to nail somebody to the cross. Boom, Evero. You see what I'm saying? And like my man said, y'all know this man, before he came to Carolina, was one of the top picks for head coaching jobs.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's real.
And so what the hell happened? He just forgot how to fucking coach football? Are you crazy?
Facts.
Come on, man.
Hey,
Stop
now,
that.
now let me ask you this. So when they pin Evero to the cross, you sliding Bryce over to one side and putting Evero on the other?
Hell no. His little monkey ass is down there burning like a motherfucker right up.
Why you get him started?
You understand what I'm saying?
CJ.
Hey, I got to pick up. Hey, but you know what though? Let me say this too. All right, now everybody says a lot about that $180 million we spend on defense. Okay, and I think some people out here in this world. I'm sorry, offense. My bad. I'm sorry, offense.
See,
I think some people. Thank you,
Look, he trying to hem EJ up.
Like, no, I'm not trying to hem him up. I'm not trying to hem him up. I'm just trying to make a point because now we spent that money on the offense, and everybody keeps saying 180 million. Well, if you break it down, I saw Alex Bryant on X a couple days ago, and he was saying, you know, he hates that narrative because if you break it down to what was paid out this year, there was 30-something million spent in the offseason on offense and 40-something million spent on defense. Okay, and later on in the season, I was one of the people I was calling for Evero's head. But Doug will tell you a few lives ago, I was like, you know what? Y'all don't be surprised if Evero is here again this year, which he is, because it was a press conference where Canales got up there and he was like, I like this defense. I've coached against this defense. I know what this defense is when it's good. When he said that, I was like, you know what? And I will say this. Now, if injuries did play a big part, but what, my thing with Evero is too, when we had all our starters, the first game of the season, New Orleans proceeded to just, throw us straight on out New Orleans on the flight right back to Carolina. They almost beat us by 40 daggone points, and I don't think that
ball up 4 or 5 times that game too, though.
Yeah, this is true.
But,
This is
and
very true.
then, CJ, you want to put
Yes, sir.
and then you want to put stuff out there like that. You said 40 was spent over here, 30 was spent over here. But so let's put it in a shoe perspective. You see what I'm saying? Now Jordans was bought with that 30. Jordans and snake skins, alligators, right?
Red bottoms.
Okay. Yeah. We went to Pick and Pay. We went to Pick and Pay with that 40.
Not Pick and Pay.
Because we went to Pick and Pay with that 40 because we bought a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to wear them all at one time. You see what I'm saying? You bought a bunch of stuff over there with that 40, and it wasn't worth a damn. You got to put it in perspective now.
Yeah, and I got you, and I'm not saying you wrong, but a lot of them Pick and Pay.
Real quick, CJ. Hey, Twan, come back. I was about to hit you when CJ got done. If you still in the chat, Twan, definitely come back, man. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah. But not, a lot of those, you say you went to Pick and Pay on offense, but a lot of those picks on defense were quote unquote Evero guys. Okay.
Well, what so they could afford, but okay. See, like he said, well, I know. Let's say Josie June, right? So he say, okay, I coach this guy here in Denver, whatever, and we can actually get him. That's the thing about free agency. Now, if you're a free agent, you have to want to come here. The money got to be right. It's a lot. It's a lot of things that have to happen to get these free agents. It just sometimes it bothers me when people, we need to get this one in free agency. They have to want to come here.
This is true. I'm not disagreeing with you at all on that one, though.
Hey, real quick, what's going on, Twan, from the 704 Bound Show? Pulling up, showing some love over here, man. What's going on, Twan?
What's going on? 704 Charlotte Bound Show.
Oh, my bad. Look, look.
What's going on, Dougie?
Twan from 704 Charlotte Bound Show. My God, I can't. Hey, my bad, man. I've been over there. What's going on, Twan?
What's good, man? How y'all feeling?
Good, man. Good, man. I already know you pulling up to talk about the defense. Go ahead and give your case.
Man, I'm a forest animal with a whole bunch of bears. Out here, look, man. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret how I feel. Kendall knows how I feel when it comes to Evero. I don't have anything against Evero, the person. I think his coaching sucks, though. I've never seen anybody, man, be the worst at something and retain his job. I think them firing his staff, was somebody having to pay the penalty with that situation. But my thing is they're receiving their instructions from him. I didn't think Evero was incredibly, this great guy at Denver, although I know people did like him, when he came in, I definitely was going to give a chance. I was not against him coming to Carolina. I don't buy, the whole, he didn't have a whole lot on defense and players get hurt. Look, you the coach, you got to coach them up. I saw when he tried blitzing and things like that with the team, and they were pretty good at it for the most part. What I felt in my conclusion when it comes to Evero is that he didn't trust his players. We watched Louvu walk out the door. Second time All-Pro now. Chen walk out the door. Well, Chen's situation was a little different. These players didn't want to play for him no more. It may not have been personal, but maybe they didn't want to play in his defense. With all this surrounding the dude, man, other than Bryce Young, I never seen somebody fight for somebody who does so little. You know, at least Bryce is improving. I ain't seen Everett improve since he's been here.
I gotta ask you a question though.
Go ahead, AJ.
I totally disagree with everything he just said. By the
Yeah,
way.
but my question, I'm gonna let you go in after JJ. Why do you feel that way about Everett though? Like, why do you feel like he's a terrible DC? Because Dave came out and also the GM said that he couldn't make many adjustments because of the lack of talent. So do you feel like it's just a scheme issue, or you just feel like he's just regressing as a coach overall?
I thought he was regressing. I didn't think it was a. I didn't think. Look, I mean, well, based on who people put in terms of talent and how they rank talent, I saw sparks with this defense. I saw what those guys can do. I mean, we got guys last couple of weeks where we like, who is this guy on defense out there making plays, man? Evero did not trust these players. I just, I can't take anybody's opinion away from them. I do not understand somebody who has coached as poorly as him get to retain his job, and people are out here,
What does that mean?
like this guy hasn't done anything wrong, and that's an excuse, man. You coach players up. Players don't coach the coach up. You coach them up. They're still professional football players.
Bro, when you have a team with 4 or 5 guys that really are going to probably end up in the UFL, you can't coach that shit up when you're going against the best talent in the world. With all due respect. Like, hold on. He had you in a 1 possession game with Philly. He had you in a 1.5 possession game with Cincinnati. He had you in a 1 possession game against Kansas City. I mean, really, the list goes on and on. I can continue to go. He had you in a 1 possession game against Tampa Bay, with Baker Mayfield being one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL at that time. They come to Charlotte, and Eddie Pinero misses 2 field goals, Chuba fumbles, and game is over. But that was a 1 possession game that you really should have won. So, I mean, I don't understand what you mean. You have to coach these guys up, bro.
I don't know.
All right, so hold on real quick. Hold on, Twan. So JJ, then JJ's done. Go ahead, Twan. And then if somebody else on the panel want to go ahead and discuss, go ahead.
My man, I like that, man. My man, I like that. Other than your Bryce takes, I like that. But go ahead.
Don't you have a Bryce jersey on in your profile picture or what?
No, that's the little kid. I'm saying that's him. You see that little kid?
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
Yeah,
that's him. I'm picking at him.
Kendall does not like Bryce.
Yeah, Kendall don't like Bryce.
All
right, go ahead, and rebut Twan, so we go to our next topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kendall, you just not gonna hop on the same train with me with no topics. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree with you talking about I disagree with all.
I know. I know how you feel.
Bottom of my feet.
I know how you feel about that guy. My thing is I'm not trying to change anybody's mind about if they like Evero or whatever. He's coming back. And I gotta wish him the best in or whatever he does. But you know what I'm saying? I don't have any faith in that dude. I mean, my man just sat there and said how close he had us. How close Evero had us to winning games.
Correct.
Evero?
Correct.
Come on.
You're going against the top quarterbacks. You're going against the top quarterbacks in Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, and you were still close with all due respect with the bullshit talent he was given.
Yeah, you talking about
admittedly from the front office, bad talent, and he still had you competing.
Sequan, this man gonna make me do something that I know y'all gonna record and try to use against me later. You know what I'm saying? So Bryce Young had nothing to do with none of that. The offense had nothing to do with scoring and keeping the game close. Look, man, Evero looked decent based on what that offense was doing the way you're explaining it. I don't know anyone, I say it again, that comes in last place and breaks a record in a negative capacity and get to keep their job.
Hey, and I will say this too, JJ. In those games you mentioned, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, the defense, the defense did hold us up enough in those games. Huh?
Philly?
Yeah, Philly.
We held Jalen Hurts to 101 yards, whatever it was.
I ain't gonna throw Philly in there because I think that was probably a pretty good game by the defense. I mean, now we ended up giving up 200 yards rushing, which was a theme for us at the end of the season. But yeah, we were in a position. But my thing is, when you talk about that Kansas City game and you talk about the the first Bucks game, the defense shit the bed both times. The Panthers got us. I mean, not Panthers, but the offense got us into a position to win. And we took the lead in the Kansas City game. We took the lead in the Tampa Bay game. And I say this a lot on our channel. It got to the point where Bryce was having to come, and the offense was having to come out there and score like touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, like the Arizona game. You know what I mean? And I said this to Doug and Tony in the text, and I was like, I said when we scored that first touchdown, the Panthers are gonna have to come out here and score about at least 2 or 3 more touchdowns, because as soon as Arizona figures they shit out, they're gonna come back. And I swear they did, and we took the game to overtime. But I try to say this because we all have our takes on Evero. Okay, but at the same time, there is enough on both sides. There's enough to say he didn't have enough talent. There's enough to say that he had too many injuries. Okay, but you also have to give Evero a little bit of credit. He did what he had to do. There were some games we can say, okay, you know what, they look better than others, but it's enough blame, to go around. And mind you, my stance on it.
Without the talent, though, CJ, you just said it. It's no consistency.
But hold on, Kendall. He said it though, because he said
it's enough blame to go. Yeah, it's enough blame to go around.
Yeah, it wasn't just on one part.
Just like we sit up here, and defend Bryce. Mind you, I was one of the ones I was calling for Evero's head, but I ain't gonna lie to you. After Dave Canales said that statement a few weeks back, I went and looked at it and I was like, well, you know what? We went and spent all that money on the offensive side of the ball, and then Evero brought in his people. Besides Josie Jewell, they really didn't turn out to work good. You had Nick Scott.
Robinson turned out good too.
Well, I'm sorry, Robinson and Josie Jewell, but you got a Nick Scott, you got a Jordan Fuller. He even brought Deshaun Williams back, a few games, and then somebody like Dane Jackson, who was also hurt, but even when he came back in the game, he looked like he didn't want to be out there, like he didn't know what was going on half the time. But I'm just saying,
yeah. CJ, say it's like this. Say if you was built, the year Robert Saleh and then let's say Steve Wilkes, some other guy come in there and had the San Francisco defense, right? Okay, y'all know why that defense was wrecking, almost like Philly's defense. When you have key guys at the tackle position, corner position, linebacker position, this and that, your superstar guys now, not the B grade, C grade players that we got, like my man said, USFL guys, stuff like that. They're not going to be consistent. 9 times out of 10, they're going to get beat week in and week out. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you're looking at. The consistency. A guy, not a jag, a guy is going to go in there. He's going to beat that offensive guy week after week. That's when you're going to get consistency. That's when you're going to get winning. Okay, the strong point of our team this year, when we spent that 180, was supposed to be the offense. So when nobody cried about year in and year out when the Carolina Panthers was known for their defense, and our defense carried us a lot of time from the offense, from the Teddy Bridgewater years to the till they started giving more money on offense, bringing in offensive-minded coaches and things like that. So the offense was supposed to carry us now, right? Because we're supposed to have changed the game. We're in a transition. But when you don't have lack of talent on that side of the ball, and like my man said, and we're one possession, you're going to blame the coordinator? That's a scapegoat type shit.
Yeah.
So can I say something real quick, man?
Hold on, Twan. Hold on, real quick.
Hold on, CJ.
My thing,
CJ, hold on, real quick. You got CJ and then Twan, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to the next topic. So go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I'm agreeing with everybody. Like I said, there's enough blame to go around, and it's just like my thing is, and I hate to bring up Bryce, because let me tell you, I'm getting so damn tired of talking about Bryce Young and hearing about him. But my thing is, I know. But no matter who is on that daggone offense, if Bryce Young goes out there and he doesn't do anything, y'all, it's gonna be Bryce's fault. Okay, but then on the defensive side, if there's a lack of this, there's a lack of that. You know,
Not
it's
true,
it's
man.
it's not all Evero's. You know,
CJ, that's
it's
why
lack
we
of
was talking
talent.
at the same time. That's why we.
Oh, okay.
That's why we. That's why we was talking at the same time because you
Yeah.
just completely just took my point. And that's why I was going to say, look, I don't understand, bro, because it's like this. And I know people that love Bryce and go hard for Bryce can understand this. It's like when, on one hand, and we probably got one of the most confusing fan bases out here. On one hand, we got people
Facts.
that get out there and get on damn Bryce Young and say no excuses. But when it comes, but now when it's no excuses. You got paid this. You were expected to do this, and when you don't do it, and then in the second year you got to get up out of here. But then when you bring a coach in and he's expected to do this, well, look, you gonna say he ain't have no weapons on defense? Bryce fans can say Bryce didn't have no weapons on offense. It could go both ways. But then when it comes to Evero, let me finish. Let me finish. But when it comes to Evero, but when it comes to this Evero situation, then people are it's almost like the situation with Bryce, where the same people that were saying get rid of Bryce are going, well, we got to take our time with Evero. Or he didn't have this, he didn't have that. It's too soon to fire him or whatever. I'm like, some people, it sounds like y'all want it both ways. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get rid of Bryce because of the way he looked. I thought he should have been off the team. And I'm consistent in saying that if you ain't getting the job done, no matter who it is on the team, that it's time to move on. I mean, Carolina's got a problem with trying to hang on to non-talent. So I'm going to keep that same energy when I came out to Bryce and say, Evero got to go too. So if I said Bryce got to go, then Evero got to go.
You
All
can't
right, I'll
say,
say
you can't
this.
say it's
Okay.
non-talent though. You can't
But-
say it's non-talent. You
Like,
can't say it's non-talent when a guy was in the top running in the NFL for head coaching jobs before he got here.
It don't matter.
Hold on, let him finish,
And on
Twan.
top of
Let him
that-
finish.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he was still in certain conversations to get a head coaching job last year.
Correct.
So it's not like, bro, you can't just say it's a lack of talent. You can't say that the coach it's a lack of talent from a coaching standpoint. No, bro. That's why what CJ spoke about earlier when he said Dave Canales came out and defended him. He said, "What y'all got to listen when these niggas be having. When these people be having.
Exactly.
You good.
Y'all
Hey,
have to
I knew then,
Hold
JJ.
on, y'all. 'Cause
I'm sorry.
We got to
that's what I'm
wrap this
saying.
one up.
You gotta listen. Y'all gotta listen when they have press conferences, bro. Like, because what Alex was insinuating when he made those remarks was that I've seen this work. I know it can work when it's played correctly. That's what he said. That was the quote. I know the defense can work when it's played correctly. So that means that there's a lack of talent in that defensive room to execute properly defensively for the scheme itself to work.
All right, so I'm gonna say this so we can go to our next two topics. Basically, this defense has to go up. I do think they're going to do exactly what they did for the offense. We knew the offensive line was the problem. We're going to go up. The defense has to get better. They addressed the offensive line. We knew the offensive line was a problem. They did what they needed to do. I think this is a topic that's going to be continued all throughout the offseason, even when we get additions or subtractions on this defense of Evero's scheme and the players that we bring in. But I think we can all agree that this defense is going to look different going into 2025.
Hey, Doug, let me say something to take 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds.
Go ahead.
At the end of the day, it's on Canales. You know what I'm saying? We're just debating the subject. It's on Canales. Because the Evero get out there and stick up it's everything that happens on this team is going to be on Canales' resume. And if he want to take the chance with Evero, it's on him. I can't be mad at him. He the head coach. It's on him.
It's on
you know what I'm saying? So everything is on him. You know, quarterback, everything. But, you know, if them wins don't get the piling up, then he gonna be. It's just like any other coach. It's on him. So look, I can't be mad at him. He the head coach. He get to make these decisions with Dan Morgan. So him at the end of the day.
Facts. All right. So the next one we're gonna get into. Let me take the banner off. Sorry about that, fellas. How would you rate the 2024 rookie class? You guys can give me a letter grade, whatever you guys are feeling. Me personally, I'll say it's not an incomplete, but if you said, you know, Doug, can you give us a letter grade? I'll give it a B minus. When you look at it, the times that we were able to produce, we did produce. Xavier Leggett, I know how some people feel about him. He was up and down. You look at what JT Sanders was able to do. That is a promising tight end that we're going to have here in Carolina since Greg Olsen. I do hope we bring Tommy Tremble back, so that will help him alongside the way as well. Cha Smith-Wade did start out slow, but definitely looked better closer to the end of the season before he got hurt. Crumity is an incomplete. Jonathan Brooks is an incomplete. And I think I covered everybody else.
Trevin.
Yeah, and Trevin Wallace. Definitely got to run a linebacker that I think is going to be that core that we always had in Carolina. AJ, before you head out, man. Oh, he headed out already. I was going to tell my guy, I appreciate he pulled up. He just tells you had to do some work things. So, fellas, go ahead and tell me what you guys think based off of the 2024 class. What grade would you give them?
C-.
C+.
Yeah, I'm going C. Flat.
C flat. Twan or Kendall?
I'm gonna say, but the potential of it is a B plus. What it actually was, probably a C minus. The potential really could be an A minus because what we see. Look, we know with the draft, just to keep it quick, we know with every draft, you'll be good if 3 or 4 of those guys blow and they're good. And I can see Sanders being real good. I can see Leggett learning from his mistakes and being real good. And Jatavian Sanders. That's my 3 where I feel like no matter what, they're going to excel.
Gotcha.
The other dudes, the other dudes with all due respect, those are the people that'll shock you. You know what I'm saying? Like what's coming, or what they can do. It's on them to make a name for themselves. But it's 3 guys. It's 3 guys out of that draft class where I'm like, they can really make some things happen for this team, bro.
Got you. Kendall, did you give your grade?
I look at it as a C minus.
Okay.
Because of the simple fact that you were chasing in that draft instead of letting it fall to you. That's the way looking at that draft, having that draft on the podcast and talking about that draft, that was a C because they looked like to me they were chasing the whole time. The moving up and getting Leggett at 32, something they didn't have to do. Allocating 2 of the first picks. The only thing I liked was getting our second round pick back for the Rams. Getting us a second round pick. That right there, that was an A. But the rest of it, C minus.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it a failing grade, a D, to C minus. Because
I agree.
there's a lot of stuff they didn't have to do. They you see some of these other war rooms and it's like these guys are so cool. You know what I'm saying? And they anticipated and prepared and they seen stuff moves. They played master chess. You know what I'm saying? It looks like we always what's happening? Let's do this. It's like they second guess themselves and they all over the place. So C minus, man.
That's a great point. I agree with what he said. C minus for sure. I think that XL, like you said, Doug, XL had an up and down year. But I do think this is somewhere where I shoot him bail. I think that wrist definitely played a part in it. Because we didn't really see a drop problem, actual drop problem until the hit against New Orleans. And then it became a lot more prevalent. So I kind of give XL bail. However, just based on what he did, mediocre. Jalen Coker, I guess. Like, are we putting Coker in that?
Isn't he still a part of the draft?
I think you got to.
He's still part of the draft class. He's an undrafted free agent in the 2020.
Yeah, they brought him in.
So,
Damn, I forgot about Coker.
That's why I said a B minus.
I definitely give them credit for Coker because I think Coker is a dog. I really, really do. Like, I think he's going to be special. And he's a guy that I was very, very slow on. Trevin Wallace, to me, like a lot of people like him. To me, he's mediocre. There was nothing really that Trevin Wallace did, in my opinion, that really jumped off the film to me.
I agree.
And he just at times he looked very slow. At times he looked lost. I like defenders that come downhill and are coming with bad intentions. A lot of people on this defense, including Trevor Wallace, that wasn't necessarily the case. Now, there were spurts of times where he would do it in 2 or 3 play increments, but at the same time, it wasn't consistent. Crumity, UFL, with all due respect, Michael Bear, obviously we got rid of him. Shaw Smith Wade, he's borderline UFL, but I know that people like his progress. I know people like his progress, so I'm gonna chill on him. And Jatavion
UFL.
JT Sanders, he's gonna be a dog, but I also hated the fact that we saw him starting to come into his own. He gets stretched against Kansas City. Then when he comes back, it's we just stopped getting him involved. But I also know that this coaching staff has an infatuation with Tommy Tremble. So it's kind of like a give and take kind of push-pull situation there. But I think JT Sanders is going to be special as well. But yeah, I C minus.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get it.
I want to give him props for all the people that he did name that, probably straight, in the bargain bin. I agree with all those players that he, and when you do a draft, everybody ain't going to work out. You know what I'm saying?
This goes into our last slide right here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe in Dan Morgan? With him being in his second year as the GM, he knows the holes that he needs to fix. He's alluded that he's the reason why this roster looked piss poor on the defense. He basically said, I'm the reason why certain things did not follow through in my first year. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you fellas think your confidence level is in Dan Morgan going into his second year of offseason?
I'm gonna give him an 8.
We all said
Quan giving a 9.
No, I'm not giving it a. Oh, you said Quan? Yeah, me and Quan and Quan, bro. What up?
Quan said 8 as well.
Okay, 8.
What's going on, Twan?
What's going on with you, bro?
I'm not giving him.
Bless, man. Bless.
I'm not giving him.
Yeah, my guy.
Hold on, Kendall. Hold on, you got the floor, Kendall. Go ahead. What?
Yeah, I'm not giving him no type of grade. I'm giving him the second chance, and only because of that interview that podium deal that he did when he acknowledged and admitted what he did. That right there will stand up.
And I think
that will stand up for me to say.
I think that's why you got to give him a grade.
Yeah, give him. I mean, 1 to 10, Kendall. Can you give me a number?
All that did for me, see, Dougie, was get off his ass. You know what I'm saying? All he did was buy time. That's all he did. That's all he did.
Look, hey, bro.
But if he goes out there and addresses the defense, how he addressed that offensive line, if he can make a switch on that defensive line like he did on that offensive line, that's why I say an 8.
Yeah.
If he can take that same state of mind and thought process and energy into that defensive side of the ball, especially on defense, because again, I keep bringing up the cap. Okay, this draft, they've got to hit in this draft because we want to bring in Bryce, a number 1 wide receiver. Okay, outside of T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, and maybe a Chris Godwin. Who else out there do you want to get? And out of those, you're probably going to have to pay them. All right. And then we need help in all 3 levels on the defense side of the ball, if you ask me. And then depending on how you address that in free agency, it still all comes down to that cap. So like the man said in the comments, that scouting department got to be on their P's and Q's. They got to be on there on 10, maybe 15, 20, and they got to get this shit right this year.
Exactly.
The first round pick, second, and the 5th picks, they got to be stars.
What do you call yourself?
Armchair GM.
What do you call yourself, CJ?
Armchair GM.
Okay, so goddamn, hey, if all you did was wallet work because you overpaid Robert Hunt, so all you did was wallet work.
What?
So
slow down, bro.
Do you give that to the scouting department? Do you give that to this and that? Was he said because hold up, let's don't say The New York Giants on Hard Knocks had Robert Hunt at $13 to $15 million. What do we give him?
Yeah, hey, but you have. Hey, listen to me. You have to do that when you're a 3-win ball club. Unfortunately, you got to pay another $1 million to $1.5 million just for me to give you the
Kendall know that, and Kendall know that. He know that.
Don't sit there and say,
like QJ said, Robert Hunt was worth every penny.
every last penny.
You understand what I'm saying? Don't sit there and say I found. Now I give you credit. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay,
Yes.
don't sit there and say, okay, Jalen Coker, and I found a diamond in the rough. Frankie Louvu, I found a diamond in the rough. Find me some diamonds in the rough that I'm not overpaying for, and I understand what you're saying. A 3-win team, a 2-win team, or whatever, we got to overpay. But that's wallet work to me. Hell, if we can go get anybody if we got the money, right?
That's on the scouting department.
Anybody come here if we got the money.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
So
Go
Kendall.
Hold on.
Go scout, go GM.
Talking.
Kendall, don't forget, bro. We had a scout on the blueprint shedding tears because we drafted DJ Johnson. So is that on Dan Morgan or is that on the scouting department? Don't forget that.
Hold on, cuz when do you get them scouts? When do you get them scouts picks? 5th, 6th round, 7th round. That's they not picking them scouts is not picking them 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round.
We don't even know who the scouts are. We can't even name the scouts on our team. We can't even name the scouts on our team.
They're not giving those scouts those picks. 1st, 2nd, 3rd round. That's going to the big boys.
Hey, so let me get my grade, C. Dougie. All right, go ahead.
I thought you gave your grade. Your grade.
No, I didn't give a grade. I didn't give a grade.
Go ahead. Everybody.
I'm not giving a grade. This is the part with Kendall I do have to agree with. Yeah, me and Kendall do agree sometimes. Look, man, it's right now. It's to be continued for me with Dan Morgan, bro. I think too many times that we hop on guys and give these guys immediate credit for something instead of waiting it out. He only had 1 year so far. I mean, if you said give him a grade based on the 1 year, I can't do that after 1 year. It's to be continued.
I'll pull it back up. That's not what the question was.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe?
How much I believe in it? Okay, I thought that was a different question.
No.
I still don't.
Okay.
I don't know, man, because we had some bad GMs. I mean, I gotta wait to see what he's gonna do. It's only been a year.
Got you.
We had some horrible GMs, bro. Do I feel like Morgan can get it done? Yeah, but I said the same thing about Fitter when he first got here.
Got you.
We've been through some bad GMs.
I think Morgan did more than Fitterer though. In his
I do believe too, and I was gonna say
that's why I'm giving. That's
not. Hey JJ, that's not even hard. You know, Scott didn't do nothing.
Hold on, but that's facts though.
No, I'm agreeing with JJ. I'm just saying that's not even hard. Scott got to be at the bottom of the list since our existence.
Yeah, but I would say this: the 2025 offseason has just started. Again, this is our first live here. Like I said, CJ been making me laugh whenever we've been talking about the live. He was like, Doug, you did your Houdini. But like I told everybody, I do have, some things coming up here pretty soon. But other than that, we are back, man. I definitely appreciate everybody pulling up, man. I'm going to have everybody go ahead and shout their channels out. And then I will tell the announcement what's going on with the membership. So, Twan, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you out here on YouTube, Twitter, and all social media platforms.
You can find me at the 704 Charlotte Bounce Show. I'm in the Real Twan Don on Twitter. Same thing on Twitch and Instagram. And man, we got a fabulous show over there with fabulous content. Make sure you come subscribe to the show, become a member. I got a show coming up that me and Doug already been kind of talking about behind the scenes. He laughed about it. It's my second annual top 10 podcasts and content creators list. The first time I did it, bro, it was wild, bro. I got like 1,000 emails, man. Like, this person should have been here, there, whatever. I kept telling people it's my top 10. It ain't the top 10, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to shake some stuff up, man. I think it's going to be some people that's going to be real shocked about that top 5 list. And, man, I'm telling you, bro, I really set it down, crafted it out. And, Yeah, I can say that 3 people on this show right now is on that list. 4.
Hey, go ahead, Kendall. I appreciate that. Kendall, where can they find you at?
Hey man, Black Cat Panther podcast, but we taking a break right now. We are on one of I guess it'd be our subsidiaries, the Tailgate Experience, where we talk all 32. The Tailgate
Subsidiary.
Experience, where we talk all 32, so we can talk about the playoffs, man, and then we'll be back later on Black Cat, man, talking about the draft as it consists of the Panthers. So Black Cat Panther podcast, man, Tailgate Experience. Y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir. My big brother, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at, CJ.
Hey, you catch me over at Two Fans in the Stands on all social media.
Yes,
Hey, did you
sir.
say my dear brother? I thought you said my dead
I
brother.
said my big brother.
Oh shit, bro! I was about to say condolences.
Wow.
All right,
What?
Quan, that's my co-host. That's my brother, Twan. You know, me and Quan met, and then just definitely been tight since day one, man. So go ahead and tell them where they can find you at, fam.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, I appreciate you bringing me up as always, man. Y'all can find me over at the Panthers Experience, Uncle Quan. Right now, I'm like on a low-key break, so don't expect no content right now. But hey, we're gonna get it out all off season, man. So stay tuned,
Yes,
man.
sir. All right, and then again, our guest for tonight was JJ from FPFO, man. Again, I had the pleasure of meeting this young man during training camp. I appreciate JJ pulling up, man. Again, I already know JJ knows some things that's going on behind the scenes for 2025. So I can't wait till, hopefully I have him back on. But go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at, JJ, and the fellas.
For sure, man. First and foremost, appreciate you having me on. Definitely humble, extremely grateful. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Y'all can find me on Instagram at For Panthers Fans Only. On Twitter, you guys can find us at FPFO_podcast. YouTube at the G2S Network. And if you search Google For Panthers Fans Only, everything will pop up. You'll have everything at your disposal there. Got merch on the way. We got our content creator bracket challenge coming with the mock drafts. A lot of great things going on. A lot of big movement, big motion going on for sure. So make sure to tap in. Again, Dougie, appreciate you having us, bro. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on, bro. Shout out to y'all.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick. I won last year, didn't I, with the mock draft, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't know. Did you win?
Yeah, because you remember
was you here to win, though?
I wanted that phone case. You remember me? I was in the deal.
Oh, that's right. I owe you a phone case, don't I? I owe you a phone case.
That's why he brought it up.
That's why he brought it up. But I do owe you. I got you.
Y'all already know.
All that was, where's my phone case?
But hey, like I said, this is the first live for What's Up Dub platform. Again, I wanted, I was in other people's chats, didn't go live. Again, we are back in full force, all gas, no brakes. Again, the reason why we're pushing these memberships, the membership's only 99 cents, everyone. There is something big that's going to be introduced to the members, and here coming up real soon, that if you get a membership now, whenever that bid project is announced in the future, you'll already get an incentive with the bid project that's coming up here in the near future with it. So again, that's the reason why we were pushing the memberships, because I can't promise that they will be 99 cents going forward. But I know once the big news drops, I think people will be like, oh, I understand why Dougie had them so cheap and so low. But again, I appreciate everybody from the members that we have. Go ahead and pull them up. I can't pull them all up because I left out, but I do know it was Red Swarm, CJ, Nella's Creations, Antonio McLennan, Blizo, and Blizo gave a super chat. Red Swarm also gave a super chat as well. But again, I appreciate everybody that pulled up to the live stream of our first one in 2025. Again, if you are not subscribed to What's Up, Doug, you do not want to miss out on the big news that's going to drop here in a couple of months. We have some big things in store, not only for the off season, but during the season as well, for all our Panther fans and NFL fans as well. So again, I appreciate the panel joining us tonight. Again, I appreciate my special guest, JJ from FPFO, showing up. Everybody have a good night. Stay blessed. Stay tuned. We will be back next Thursday. Next Thursday will be championship preview. We will have AJ from All Pro Sports Talks doing more and probably having some more people come up as well. Again, everybody, appreciate all the support, all the love. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. We out.